Hello, boys and girls. This is a virtual field trip. We are heading to the land of Australia. Let's see where we're going. We're going to get our passports ready. Remember to click on the resources page. It has a suitcase for all of our travels and your passport you can fill out for each virtual field trip you go on. Let's start with where we are. We're located right up here in Georgia in North America. We're going to take an airplane all the way over the Atlantic Ocean, Africa, all the way down here to Australia. If you look at the compass over here, we have north up top, south down below, west on the left, and east on the right. So when we're looking at the globe in this flat map, we start out here on the left, which would be what on our compass? Correct. It would be the west. We are heading all the way over here, which would be what on our compass? Which direction are we heading? That's right. We are heading east to Australia. Now let's look at where we're located. We're up here closer to the top of the globe, which means we're where? Which one of these? The north. That is correct. And we're heading way down below the equator. The equator is a line that goes straight across the globe. And this is way below it toward the bottom of the globe. And that means we're heading south to Australia. They call Australia the land down under because it's down under the equator toward the bottom portion of the globe. That's called the southern hemisphere, and it is a fun place. Their seasons are different than ours. Right now, we just finished winter, and guess what? They're just finishing summer. So summer for them is December and January, where that is winter for us. When it's summer here in July and August, it's winter there. Isn't that funny? All right, let's head to Australia. Good day, mate. They speak English in Australia, but it's kind of funny sounding. They say things like good day, mate, when they're saying hello to friends. They say all of their English with a different accent than we have. But everybody has different accents, sometimes even in our own town, don't they? Well, that's probably the same in Australia. So first, we're going to head down towards this corner of Australia. It's called Sydney, and that looks like it's in the southeastern part of the country. Now look at this country. It is surrounded by what? Animals on this picture, but what is all around it, the blue stuff? It is water. This country, Australia, is also its own continent. That means there are no other countries on this continent but Australia. Australia is broken up into different states, kind of like the United States has, but it's definitely a little smaller than the United States. Now, Australia is also kind of like an island, right? It is the largest island. It is out there surrounded by water. Now let's head to Sydney, Australia, and see what we find. We find one of the most famous buildings. If you look at this building, you'll see funny looking shapes on it. This is the Opera House in Sydney, Australia. You see we have water all around us again. The Opera House is one of the most famous locations for them to have concerts and plays, ballet, all kinds of things. They do fun things like light shows at night on these white cement shells. They call these shells. Even though they're not really made out of shells, they look that way. There are fun, different things they do at the Opera House. There are restaurants, concerts, plays, symphonies. It is a very famous place. And this is also a very famous bridge in Australia, in Sydney. It's also very recognizable. So, we visited Sydney, where we saw the most famous building in Sydney, the Opera House, and there's the bridge we just saw a picture of as well. Now we're going to head north to Queensland, and just off the coast of Queensland is the Great Barrier Reef. Well, what is the Great Barrier Reef? How about we check it out? Listen to this video and let's see what we learn about the Great Barrier Reef. The planet's largest living structure. It's nature's greatest gift to Australia. A mosaic alive with diversity. Over 4,000 coral reefs. Home to thousands of species. This living tapestry stretches 2,300 kilometers in the water. It's a living treasure to be cherished, respected, and protected for now and the future. Experience the greatest reef on Earth, the Great Barrier Reef in Queensland, Australia. Have any of you seen Nemo, Finding Nemo? Well, Finding Nemo had the Great Barrier Reef in it, didn't it? There are all kinds of animals in the reef. It is a neat area full of coral, which is living creatures, the fish, the turtles, the birds up in the air. It is a great place. But Australia also has some other animals that are really fun. Let's see what else we find in Australia. The states of Australia, and the flag, they have dingoes. A dingo, it looks like a dog. Well, they are wild dogs. Their coats are golden red, and dingoes often hunt in packs. They hunt for rabbits and birds. Dingoes don't bark, they howl. That's like a coyote. The koala bear, he lives in the eucalyptus trees. They eat leaves and they sleep during the day. Koalas are marsupials. The babies live in their mother's pouches. The platypus. He's a funny-looking animal, isn't he? He has a bill like a duck, a tail like a beaver, paddle fins like swimming, and guess what? He lays eggs like a chicken. Well, the platypus is a marsupial as well because it has a pouch to carry its babies. The babies live there while they are small, but the platypus lays eggs first. The kangaroo, he's a neat animal. The kangaroos are very common in Australia. They're gray. They like open areas with trees. They hop from place to place. Babies spend a year in their mother's pouch, so they're marsupials too. Wallaby. The wallaby hops kind of like a kangaroo. He's like a small kangaroo. They're different in other ways too. They aren't as fast, but they can hop through tight spaces. The kangaroo's hops are much taller and go farther. The Tasmanian Devil. The Tasmanian Devil was made into a cartoon. Well, the island of Tasmania has real ones. They hunt lizards and frogs, and they eat leftovers when dingoes leave their food. The bilby. The bilby is a cute little animal. They're small. They are called rabbit-eared bandicoots. Bilbies dig deep burrows. They live in burrows during the day. At night, they come out and hunt. Bilbies eat seeds, fruits, and mice. I hope you enjoyed this video of Australian animals. Now, on your resources page, the link that's on our MIC for this virtual field trip, you'll find our other activities about Australia. You can print these and do these activities with us. The first one is this itsy bitsy book on Australia. Let's print that out and do it together. I'm going to show you what we do with this book on the document camera. So the first thing that you notice about this book, let me get into focus here, is that it's one page and not a book yet. So we need to cut the lines on the outside, and then I'll show you how to cut this center line, not all the way across, and make it into a book. First, let's pause the video and cut the outside lines only. All right, now that I've cut the outside lines out, we're going to cut the center line, and I'm going to show you a really easy way to do that. You first want to fold it on this line. So I'm going to take my paper, and I'm going to fold it in half this way on that line. And then I'm going to take my scissors and just cut the dotted part. I stop there. I don't want to go all the way across the book, or I'll mess it up and it'll become all different pages, right? Then we open it back up, and now we can make it into our book. This is really fun and easy. Watch. You pick it up, and you pinch it together like this, and then you put it like this, and you fold all the creases. And then we have our itsy bitsy Australia book. Now let's go inside and work on our book. I'm going to fill out my name, Mrs. Porter. You should write your name on your book. You can pause this video while you do that. This book would also be fun to color. If I had my crayons or my markers out, I could take time and decorate the front of my book. Now let's go inside and see what we have. First, we have a shark. Where did we learn that the sharks are? First of all, we know that Australia is all surrounded by water. So I guess sharks are probably everywhere around Australia. But we also learned that there is a huge Great Barrier Reef. The sharks are there too, for sure. So let's trace our letters. These are kind of small. So if it's hard for you to do it this way, you can also make the image bigger before you print it out. I'm going to trace very carefully. Shark. And I could say these letters as I trace them. S, H, that makes the sh sound. A, R, K, shark. You could color your shark. Let's go on to Australia. Here's the continent and country, and it shows all of the states. Remember we went over here to Sydney? That's where the Opera House was. We also went up north, and that up north is where the Great Barrier Reef was. Let's kind of color that where the Great Barrier Reef was. And let's trace our letters. A, U, S, T, R, A, L, I, A. Australia. Remember, you could color your pictures too. Here's the flag. You could take time to trace your letters for the word flag. and the sun, because it's always very sunny there. They get rain too, of course, but Australia is a beautiful sunny country. And the koala bear we learned about, he eats the eucalyptus leaves and lives on the eucalyptus trees. And the kangaroo, and both of them have pouches that they carry their babies in, so they're called marsupials. I hope you enjoyed this video and enjoyed your time learning about Australia. We would love for you to go to your activities. Let me get back on our Australia slides. And use the rest of these recorded links. These are resources for you and more activities. Also, this Aboriginal activity for coloring pages, you can do dot art. Let me show you the dot art Mrs. Porter did. I used a Q-tip and paints, and I dotted all of the colors on my picture. I also used my camera to make time-lapse videos. I mixed up my paints to get purple and orange and green, and I used the Q-tips to make the dots for my picture. That's the way the Aborigines in Australia made art. You can look online for all kinds of dot art, like the Aborigines, the original people in Australia. I hope that this was a fun activity for you too. Enjoy your time.